Hello, hello, hello. It is your boys, Mike and YS, for our DM podcast weekly. Of course, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And do the most. Make sure you're talking about whatever we're about to talk about. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the NCAA tournament, men's and women's, and why clearly the women's has been superior because we know the stars. We're also going to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the NBA because we got to talk NBA. We'll talk about the scariest teams in going into the playoffs, the team that we think could blow it all up after the season. And also, we got to talk about we were just a part of the Raptors Republic tournament. So we got to talk about that. That's probably 30. That's going to be the other half of this pod that you're probably gonna hear a lot of complaining. Not complaining. I think we had some valid reasons to what happened during that time. It was a fun time for sure. Shout out to Raptors Republic.
Shout out.
But yeah, it was definitely something that I'm pretty sure we both have a lot of comments for. But of course, before we continue, YS, how you doing?
You already know. Everyday above ground is a good one.
Exactly. I agree. Every day above ground. So let's first talk about. I first want to talk about the Malik Monk injury, but I think we'll get to NBA. I think right now let's talk about college ball. I think we've seen a lot of great things happen in college ball. And the one thing I wanted to give a shout out was NC State, both men and women.
A
The
shout
women,
them yo.
the women.
You guys beat my squad, Duke.
Oh,
Y'all beat my
yes.
squad, Duke. And it's damn.
They're a good team. The women team, they beat the Texas Longhorns, so they're making it to the Final Four. So you have both NC State teams making it to the Final Four.
Men's
That's
and women's,
pretty
that's
legit.
crazy. That's crazy.
And
That's
even like
kind of
this,
reminding me of UConn,
yeah,
right?
yeah, oh, you're right.
Like
UConn
UConn.
also both teams. You're right.
Yeah.
UConn had both. So two schools had both teams make it. So somebody's getting a raise. Some athletic director is getting a raise for everything that they just did for the
Yeah,
ball for both.
definitely.
But NC State, I read it to the first team with 11 losses to make it to the top four. So
That's
shout out to
crazy,
them.
actually. That's
Shout out to
actually
DJ
crazy.
Byrne.
Shout
Burn, I
out
should
to
say.
shout out to DJ Burn. He don't look like a baller, but he a baller.
He's a baller. He kind of poses, looks like Zach Randolph, with dreads or like braids. And
Yeah.
like he's been balling to the point Jokic was like, this is a pretty good player. This is a
So
pretty good player. So
you got
shout out to him.
Jokic telling you you're a pretty good player. You know what I mean?
And then we have a team in Purdue. This is for the men's. Purdue, Zach Edey had a 40 and 16. And me and you talked
Dominated.
about it before.
Dominated.
He dominated. Shaq complimented him. You know, a lot of people have said that Zach Edey won't be a quality NBA player. And it's weird because if he's not a quality NBA player, that means your college system is horrible. Because
I don't
how's he
think it's
dominating?
I don't think the college system is horrible. I think it's just a different game. You get what
Gotcha.
I'm saying? So Edie is obviously great in college. The NBA, unless he has a shot, outside shot, depending on what system where he goes, what system he's in, I don't think he's gonna make it too far.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think it's system dependent. If he's on a squad with like and a coach that is willing to work with his strengths, I think
Yeah.
what we see a lot is that like they bring these guys in and they're like, okay, I know what you're good at, but let's like do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Let's do something you're definitely not good at. Yeah, you could be a good shooter, but let's put you in the corner for most of it where you shoot better above the break. Like let's do that. Like
I don't
Pascal's a better corner shooter, but they always tell him to shoot, on top of the key. Why do that? He's not a good 3-point shooter from there. So, but yeah, the Zach Edey thing is, I don't know, man. I almost feel bad. I almost feel bad about it because, like,
honestly, it's hey, at the end of the day, you have a point. If a team picks him, for example, he gets drafted, picks him, they play to his strengths, that would be interesting. But I know everyone's in love with this new NBA positionless basketball, right? So they're not really. I'm not really a fan of it in the sense of everyone is doing the same thing,
right?
right? That's the only thing. Like if That's you. Every squad, college, NBA should have an identity, right? That's how I feel about that.
So like, you know what's crazy too? For Zach Edey and DJ Burns, they're killing it. They're gonna face each other in the final four. They're both killing. They're both bigs. In the '90s, this is the number one and number two overall pick right now.
Yeah, 100%. 80s as well.
And two bigs who can score in the low post. Oh no. These are the number one pick. Zach Edey in the '90s or like you said '80s, he's at least going top five.
Yeah, he's 100% top five.
Sean Bradley.
And the thing is, he would have stayed in college if it was, let's say, 89, 92. He would have stayed in college
Yeah.
for at least 3 years. This is third year, right? Third year, I think.
Yeah.
So he'd come out after this year or next year, and he'd be a top 3 pick.
Easily.
Definitely.
And I don't think DJ Burns is in
and
anyone's
teams want to get him and build around him. Like, okay,
right.
we got the big man. Now we need to get the guard.
Right.
You dominate in the post, dump the ball in low, right? He could, if he could do that now in the NBA, because he is a big boy. He is a big boy.
He's still 7'4". Like,
and he's not skinny.
And he's not a skinny dude at all.
And he's just gonna get stronger in the NBA. So
he'll get stronger. He's gonna play against the Embiids, all that stuff. And like I think, yes, work on his footwork, work on his agility, work on all that stuff. You don't want to limit him. He's still 20. He's still 7'4". You can't teach that height.
It'll come. I feel it'll come with game repetitions and experience.
Right.
The better vision, the better floor vision, right? The better kick out pass, right? Off of the rebound, right? The better read on defense, for example. It's just gonna, because the NBA is faster game. It looks slower, but it's faster at the same time.
The one thing they shouldn't do, like I was saying, like, don't just get them and be like, hey, we need you to shoot 500 threes and to practice your free. No, he shouldn't shoot any threes. Don't let him shoot threes. Let him just be a better defender. Let him be a really quality defender, and let him have a good post move, right? Like, limit. You don't have to do too much. Not everyone has to be
like work on the shooting, of course.
Right.
Work on the shooting, of course, but don't make it you have to become a great shooter.
Right.
I agree with you.
He doesn't have to be JV shooting threes. He doesn't have to be like 34%. Not right now. Eventually, I agree. Like, let him, but let's make his current talent better. Let's improve him what he's good at now, and then we can focus on the other things.
Run him some plays, some back screens to get him on a seal, low in the post, turn on baby hook.
That's it.
What will Shaq say? That's barbecue chicken.
That's it. Like, I don't think you need to do too much. DJ Burns looks like I think if the man lost a little bit of weight, he could be a solid backup, bench player, a backup bench, center, who can score in the post. I can see that.
Like the sixth off the bench, I could see that.
Yeah.
Not the eighth, the ninth, like the sixth.
Yeah. Like, what's his name? Montrezl Harrell type. Like, may not be that active, but his ability to score in the post. Well,
he has higher IQ than Montrezl Harrell.
Right.
So
he's a good player. And if Jokic is giving them kudos, watch this guy join this team, come off the bench from Jokic and just be dominating in the post too.
What a better mentor to have than Jokic.
What a better mentor.
Memphis top 5 big men of all time.
Right. Probably is. He's probably now. There's a lot of big men, so we'd have to legit think.
Okay, I can't say big man. I'm gonna say center. I'm gonna say center.
Still, that's hard.
You're right. There's Kareem, there's Wilt, there's Bill, there's Shaq.
Olajuwon,
he has rings. Yeah, Olajuwon is. I feel like Olajuwon is. That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah. I think when Jokic is all said and done, it's gonna be so hard because the NBA was all big men. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be so hard to put. Where do you put Jokic in regards to big men? Like, it's just so much guys that you want to include him in, but you're like, man, do I really want to take out Olajuwon? It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Cannot take out Olajuwon. Back to back, you know.
But if Jokic wins a third MVP and then wins a title this year, wins a back-to-back title, how is he not knocking on the door He's not even knocking on the door. He entered. He has his own key. So
He got a key and he got a duplicate.
you gotta duplicate just in case someone's trying to take it away from him. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's like the college for the NBA side, the Final Four is all set up. Connecticut destroyed my team in Illinois. Uh, it was 23-23 at one point.
How did that happen?
Connecticut's a good team, but like they have a center. So now they have a center that's more agile, who's like 7 foot, and he's way more agile. I think he's probably projected to be a top 20 pick as well. He could be a probably solid backup bench player as well. I think this whole draft has a lot of there's gonna be one hidden gem. There will be a superstar from this. There's never not really been a superstar. Even like you go to the 2000s, where I think it was like Kenyon Martin in them. Kenyon Martin was still that a guy. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
know even that draft was so weak.
right, and
Kenny,
it was weak, but it still had like
yeah,
you had solid players that came out of
definitely.
it. So I think that's something that they will do.
The thing with drafting players, though, real quick, is you never really know who is going to be a good NBA pro or a great
At
pro,
all, you don't know.
right? You figure the top picks are going to say something, but it's not guaranteed at all, right?
It's never guaranteed.
So, like Devin Booker wasn't even like the second or third option on Kentucky, and he's you know what I mean, type of player. So,
Yeah, Scotty Barnes was a 6 man off his team
and they're building a team currently around
around
the
him.
NBA.
So this
So,
it just I don't know. I quickly want to look at the 2000 draft. Yeah, it wasn't great. Like, but the 43rd pick was Michael Redd, that at one point was like the face of the franchise. Let's never forget.
Michael Redd was one of the real gunners, the lefties.
We had Quinn Richardson, we had Hedo Turkoglu. There's people, right? There's people who played Jamal Crawford. Like he was somebody. Like
Oh, definitely.
no, I can't even this. Jamal Crawford was a guy. You know what I'm saying? He was 6 man of the year. All I'm saying is that sometimes these draft picks and things happen. So you never can say who's gonna be good, who's not gonna be good. Kenyon would probably go #1 on a redraft for this, and it wasn't the strongest draft, but at the end of the day, it was still pretty. Had some solid players like Sherman Swift was there, solid. So I think this draft will
Oh,
be
wow.
good. Yeah, I have
That guy was
yeah,
dunking on everybody, Stroman.
he was still. So next, the women's game, right?
Shout out. They got some matchups.
This
They
is
got some
the
matchups.
Elite Eight has matchups, right?
They got some matchups, the women.
Tomorrow,
Damn,
or tonight, if you're listening to on Monday morning, we have Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark,
crazy.
LSU versus Iowa.
That's crazy.
We have Paige Beckers versus
She's
Juju
crazy.
Watson.
Paige is my girl.
I'm not.
Paige been doing it the longest.
She has. In high school, she was crazy. Like Juju was crazy in high school. Like I like this is gonna be fun. Like this is
True.
where the main topic of talking about men's and females is that the women's game, like we're saying names. Like
Yeah.
this is gonna be fun to watch. This is gonna be fun. We don't know DJ Burns. I didn't know anything about DJ Burns. I knew Zach
No,
Edey. I knew
no.
McCain from Duke. I knew certain names like that. But other than that, I really didn't know.
I barely, DJ, I heard in the tournament. See what I'm saying? Duke, I don't even know. Kentucky is going to have a new five next year.
It is. It
Like,
definitely is. And in the five, because Duke is gonna have Cooper Flag. They're gonna have a next man from
a
Africa.
7-2 man that's long as shit. And
Yep.
next year is going to be scary, though, with Cooper. I'm
Right.
not gonna lie. It's
But
going to be scary with Cooper.
on the women's side, think about it. So now we go to the women's side. They're losing. They're gonna lose the girl from Stanford, Brink, Cameron Brink. They're gonna
Yeah.
lose Angel Reese, and they're gonna lose Caitlin Clark. They still have Paige next year. They still have Juju next year. Like
Yeah.
they still got the names that are headlighting now.
They still do. Yeah. And the
And,
men is,
and
yeah.
there's only more people
Any
coming.
headlining names for men's is in the draft. That's
That's
just
it.
what it is. So it's never gonna be next season. What are they gonna do next season? You're gonna look forward to next season, right? It's NIL is gonna make a difference,
It
right?
is.
NIL is
It
gonna make
is.
a difference.
But you're hoping even for the men, it doesn't make a difference. It's better to go to the league because you get more money,
Definitely, it's better to go
right?
to the league, but I feel it's going to make a difference because there's going to be some guys that if you're not really in the first round, it's shaky for you, right?
If you're not in the first round, like I think your draft stock, because that guy from Kentucky, if he had a long run, if that the guy from Kentucky had a long run, people are saying he's first overall pick. They're saying it.
Yes.
Yeah, he would have been first. And there's two of them. There's him. There's a white guy Shepherd that they talk about. There's two men that they generally speak about a lot that could like help a team. But I think it depends on who gets the first overall pick. But I think probably if it's like if it's Washington, you go for Sar because he's the biggest upside. But I don't want to talk about the men's. We'll get to that draft
Yeah,
pick.
yeah,
But
yeah.
for the women's, like I'm saying, the popcorn's ready tomorrow night or tonight.
100,
It's ready. These are
100.
games you're gonna want to watch. The women's games have been better, like just the back and forth, the competitiveness, the star value of it all the top stars in college ball are playing on the women's side. Number
Definitely.
one is Caitlin. Number two is Angel Reese. We mentioned Juju Watkins. We mentioned Cameron Brink. I think her name is Audie Crooks or Audie Cooks from Iowa State. She got eliminated, but she's a freshman killing it. And Notre
Come back
Dame has
next
a
year
freshman
harder.
that's killing it. Like there's players.
Yeah,
These players.
definitely, definitely.
Texas lost, but they have their best player is a rookie, and
Especially
she killed it. Yeah, freshman.
see that, and that's more to look forward to upcoming for women's college basketball March Madness. You're
Right,
definitely right. The women's college March Madness is eventually going to get more views than the men's.
right,
Eventually,
right. I think last year it did. I think last year it did. I
it
think
did, huh?
the or just the Angel tomorrow's one. Both games will have more views than the men's. It's gonna rival an NBA game because college is everything in the States, you know.
And that's crazy because WNBA is not like that.
That's why people are hoping that when Caitlyn gets there and Angel Reese gets there, it increases the viewership. And the Indiana Fever have the number one overall pick because their draft is like in a few weeks, the WNBA draft, because their season starts soon.
Yeah,
They said that they've already like sold out all their tickets. Already, all sold out. All of them. Every game sold out. Because they're the number one overall pick. Everyone knows it's gonna be Caitlyn.
and this is definitely good for the WNBA. What's going on in the NCAA is definitely good. Women are getting better
Right?
at basketball around the world, but
Right?
I feel everyone is getting better overall around the world, right? The
Right.
game is growing, right? So
But you're right though. I think you hit it on the mark. Like the women's ball has hit a peak to where like we're watching going like no everyone can have their judgment of if a man can beat a woman in ball whatever. But
yeah,
nowadays you can't watch a woman play ball and be like, oh, she's gonna get crushed 20-0. Caitlin Clark's gonna put on points.
yeah,
We saw Sabrina Ionesco darn near have what 4 points less than the best shooter of all time
yeah.
in Steph Curry.
Do not sleep. They're in the gym shooting.
They're in.
They're in the gym shooting. That's their job. We go to work. We have a job. You know what I mean? Like the general public. These women play ball. That's their job.
Right,
And they got 20-year-old knees.
right, right, right. They're shooting it out the gym. Their handles are a lot better. Like
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest key too. I think a lot of the women's handles are so much better than
They
they were
evolved. They
before,
evolved. I
right?
can't say.
And even like people like Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi are all saying like the next up is way better than us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? They're already showing their respect. The next episode is way
Definitely.
better, and it's clear to see that it's way better
I'm
because
seeing high school highlights of girls and they're dribbling like AI. It's crazy.
right,
It's
right,
crazy. Some of them finishing with like a jelly. I'm like, it's crazy. Women doing this.
right,
Women- True. So,
right. Because is this something that we could have said what 10 years ago? We probably couldn't have said that,
yeah. 10
right?
years ago wasn't.
So it's different. I think it's one of the nicer things to see. But we'll wrap it up with the women's talk. But tomorrow's gonna be fun. It's gonna be popcorn ready fun. I can't wait to see what's gonna come of it.
On an
And then
Easter
they all
Monday
face South
too.
Carolina. What are you saying?
On an Easter Monday too.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. Happy Easter to everyone. We didn't say that first. Happy
Shout
Easter.
out, happy Easter.
So let's get to some NBA talk. Malik Monk,
Damn.
a guy who he probably will be sixth man of the year still. I wish it would go to Norman Powell, but the Clippers have kind of fallen off a little bit. But I wish it would have gone to Norman Powell just for my own Raptors biases.
He be balls on. Norm he be balling
Oh
straight up.
man,
So,
I'll if I was a writer, I would easily write that the downfall of the Raptors started with that guy being traded. I strongly believe the moment he got traded, things went bad. When Malik Monk is injured, he'll be out for like 4 to 6 weeks. He's
yeah,
sidelined, which is pretty much the playoffs. Because
because we're in April tomorrow.
right, playoffs start in 2 weeks. So that means
Four
you're
to
still 2 weeks
six.
ahead.
So let's say 5 weeks. That's a month and a week. So you're May 7th. Let's say May 7th.
Right.
Right.
So that means you would
What
have to
round would you
make
be in
it
if you advance May 7th?
by May 7th. You're either at the end of the second, beginning of third type.
Ooh.
And who do you believe Sacramento's gonna make it that far?
The second end? I don't know about that. I don't know.
They would have to win the first round, and then no, that's just not
The
happening.
West is real tough right now.
But yeah, it's just not happening. It's not
Yeah, it's real tough. Yeah.
yeah, it's way too hard. But yeah, Milik. So I
That's
guess
a blow. That's a
yeah,
blow.
yeah.
To do that without Malik, I'm thinking to do that with Malik is difficult, right? Sacramento healthy to get to the end of a second round in the West in 24 is difficult.
Yeah,
No Malik. Malik is their little, not their little. Malik is like their heart beat off the bench. He keeps the pulse going with the squad. He plays with so much energy and he's so fearless attacking the rim.
right.
Who's going to replace that?
You can't replace like 16. No, the thing is, like you like just said, it's not just the 16 or 17 plus points a game. It's the energy he brings to the squad coming off the bench. Like he can give you 30 points. He
Definitely.
can give it to you, right? Like he can be hot shooting the three and get buckets. Like he's a free agent. He's gonna get paid. He's going to get paid. He's if he doesn't stay with Sacramento, and I don't think Sacramento can afford him anymore because they have a bunch of like bigger contracts. They have to figure out if they have to pay Keegan Murray in the future. All those things are coming up. All those things are coming up.
Definitely.
So Sacramento may be losing Malik Monk. And like that's a blow. That's a blow.
Major, major.
Because like you said, like that the creation that he provides, the additional scoring. Sabonis hasn't really scored like that this year. Like, let me look at his Sabonis's stats. I'm sure probably with 15 points a game. Well, I'm wrong. Sabonis has 19 points a game, but it doesn't really feel that way.
I
Feels like
know.
he's more like 12, 15, and 12 for some reason.
Yeah, maybe 16. Yeah, yeah. It kind of feels like he still gets the boards though, right? But
Yeah,
he feels like, but he
he
has
gets
been
two
getting
boards.
some triple dubs this year.
So who's gonna step up? So Malik Monk averages 15.4 points a game, right? So Darian Fox probably had to go like 30 plus points a game now. He
Which
has
he
to
will.
do that.
Which he will.
What about Sabonis? What do you think?
Everyone has to carry a bigger load. You know, I'm not saying he has to score 10 more, 8 more, but everyone has to just Keegan, you know what I mean? Sabonis,
I even
right?
forgot
Bob.
about no, see, he's injured. He's out for the rest of the season. Kevin Hurt is out for the rest of the season, so I forgot. So they lost two guys.
Wow. Oh yeah. How did that slip?
He has a
Nah.
torn
Sack's
labrum,
done.
and
Sack's done. Sack's done.
right.
Hurt is out too. Versus I slipped. Yeah, yeah. Sack's done.
So you have Herter and Monk out. You're currently
And Fox is out, right? Next season he's coming back, right? Correct?
Monk,
No, no. Fox.
Herter. Oh yeah.
Fox is out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Red Fox. Just so everyone's clear, Red Fox. He means
Okay, okay.
yeah. Like you mean Kevin Herter, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, he's out for the rest of the season. Malik Monk's out for 4 to 6 weeks. You're seventh, basically, like you're tied for seventh, eighth with the Phoenix Suns. Both have 43 and 31. The Lakers are like climbing up there in the standings. So like, where does that leave them? I don't know. I think in their next games, oh my gosh.
You look at 1 through 10 in the West, and all of these teams are pretty good teams.
Right.
All
So
these teams have star power. All these teams you're gonna want to watch on TV, right? You're
yeah,
gonna want to have that popcorn, as you said, get the popcorn ready on TV for any one of these 10 teams, right?
yeah.
So
You know how Sacramento plays. They play up and down. They're fast paced. They can win any game because of the way they play. You
definitely,
are losing Monk and you are losing Hurt, or you already lost them. Let me tell you their next games, okay? The Clippers,
that's a loss.
the Knicks in New York,
That's a loss.
Boston on a
Damn,
back to back.
damn. Their best opportunity is to beat the Clippers because they ain't no way
Right,
they're going to Beantown and they're going to the Garden back to back and winning. I don't know about that.
right. So then, but then it gets a little, I don't think it's easier. Then they face Brooklyn. That's a win.
They should win that game.
But then you face OKC, which like OKC will start resting because they just clinched. But the thing is, I realized, and you can see we're gonna talk about the standings a little bit. No team's really gonna be resting
Mm-mm.
because they're all jockeying for position.
Hmm.
So they can't really be chilling. Like, I think we're gonna have competitive ball until maybe the second last game of the season overall. So they face OKC, then they face New Orleans, then they face Phoenix.
Damn, they got a hard schedule still.
Their last game against Portland, which they can beat, but they're probably gonna want to keep playing games because they have to fight for that play-in. They just have to. So that's their schedule. I'll get to the Lakers schedule because that's the team that's right. Phoenix is gonna come above them. We can both see it. It's gonna happen.
Definitely. They're
So
tight right now, so yeah, definitely.
right with the way so the Lakers have. Oh my gosh, this is the league helping them again? They have Toronto, our beloved Toronto Raptors, who cannot win a game.
We're losing to everybody. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's sad still. Washington,
It's wild.
the Cavaliers, who Donovan Mitchell's still not playing yet. Then they have Minnesota. That's their hard game for sure. It's a back-to-back against Minnesota, so that'll be their hard game.
Okay.
And I can see AD or LeBron not playing because their Saturday game is 3:30 and their Sunday game is 10 p.m.
Ooh,
It's more than 12 hours, so that's fine. But you know how these guys are. You know, one of them isn't playing Saturday.
you're right. You're definitely right.
Even though it wouldn't make so they play Tuesday, Wednesday on a back-to-back with Toronto, Washington.
Yeah.
Then the Cleveland one is Saturdays. They have like 4 days rest to face Cleveland. Then they face Minnesota, Golden State, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans. The Pelicans won't be playing that Sunday. I know that for sure. That last game of the season, they're not playing. The Memphis game, we already know. And so their hardest games are the next week Sunday and Tuesday, Minnesota Golden State. That seems like the hardest to me. And so I can see from looking at the standings, the Lakers may jump and go to eighth,
They
and
should
Phoenix will probably be seventh.
they should go to yeah, Phoenix go to 7, Lakers go to 8, Sac drops to 9.
Yeah, yeah. And then so now we have our play in. Let's do the play. We'll talk. We can. It's up to you if you want to talk about your Houston Rockets. We can. They did lose today, but it's also they faced Dallas, who's been really good recently.
Dallas has been the hottest team in the
Like
West.
really good recently.
It's crazy.
But our play-ins in the West will still be phenomenal. We have LA and Phoenix, so LeBron versus Durant, and
That's
Sacramento versus Golden State, which is always Even without Malik Monk, that's going to be a 130 to 130 game. It just
That's
will
a
be.
shootout. That's a shootout still.
So those will still be fun. Those two playing games will be a hell of fun. So we should expect a lot going forward. Um, I'm still waiting for this Thursday. That Houston Rockets versus Golden State. That's the game to me. That is the game that is going to mean a lot. It's going to mean a lot.
Huge.
And I
They're
think
only
the Lakers,
2 games back from each other.
yeah.
I haven't looked at the schedule, but they're gonna play at least once before the Thursday, right?
Oh, they play one more. Yeah. Houston, I was looking at it. Houston faces, I think, Minnesota.
Ooh,
And
that's
then G State faces Dallas.
well, they both have tough teams to play.
Yeah. So it may kind of stay the same, I think.
Maybe.
But but if Houston can, do something, like if the Houston can win the next game, and then Dallas can beat Golden State, that's one game behind. Then that April 4th, even that once again, popcorn ready, get magic. Like
Yeah,
popcorn
yeah.
ready, like let's
Monday
go.
and Thursday, let's get it.
So then that's the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference, I think, is pretty much set. You know, I saw like I also like heard, I think Embiid is healthy. I think he's healthy.
Southie, okay.
I think they're just like I think they're just kind of loafing him. Like, what do you think? Like, would you do that? Like, would you just let Embiid?
I,
Because
I I want him to get a rhythm going into the playoffs. You know what I mean? I would want him to have a rhythm going into the playoffs. I do not want my star, my franchise player, getting into a rhythm
during the playoffs.
and it's game one.
Yeah.
I get great players are great players, but we're not talking about, for example, Rodman here who won a ring or 2 rings and he's doing bullshit and whatnot. Like
Yeah.
if you won already, won a couple of times and you're doing bullshit, we're gonna let shit slide because you won.
Right.
But if you haven't even went to the finals, right?
Yeah.
I think you should get it into a rhythm going into the playoffs. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I see your point. You know what? It's because it's Embiid. I'm thinking like I'm almost willing to take a risk on it to make him just play game one. But you're right. No
I'm
matter if
not
you're a
saying
star
playing
or
40
not.
minutes a game, but get him in a rhythm. Like get him, you know what I mean? 25,
Yeah.
20, 25, get a rhythm.
Yeah. Last like 3 games of the season, let him play the last two. Play minute restriction 15. If you want him to go 15, just to kind of get his energy back up. Because the one
Listen,
thing,
when was the last time you played an NBA game up
right,
and down,
the
full court?
conditioning.
You're gonna lose some of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they should do something like that. But I think the Eastern Conference, yeah, it's funny compared to the West. Eastern Conference is just boring. It's just boring.
Honestly, yeah, I'm like you look 1 through 10 in the East and 10 is Hawks.
Yeah,
So you're looking at the star power. Okay. I mean, there's stars,
but
right?
Trey's not even playing. I
So
I,
there's
I don't know when he's back. He should be back soon.
so there's okay. So let's say Trey's back. DeJounte Murray, okay.
Yeah,
Bulls,
Demar and Kobe White.
right? Sixers, right? Heat, right? Butler, Bam, right? Pacers emerging, right? Halliburton, Siakam, right? Orlando, we got in Orlando. You got Paulo, the Wagner boys, the Wagner bros,
Yeah,
right? Fultz, Suggs, whatever. Knicks, you got Brunson, Randall, for
I don't know if
example.
he's ready
Bam,
for the playoffs though.
say it again.
I don't know if Randall's gonna be ready for the playoffs.
You
Hopefully,
got Brunson, you got Hart.
you have heart. If you're the Knicks, you have heart, and you have a heart. You have both. You have Thibodeau's heart. So
Bucks and C's, you already know. So, like, I mean, they're stars, but
the
you're
West is
looking in the
crazy.
West, you're looking at Joker, you know what I mean? You're looking at Ant-Man, you're looking at Curry, you're looking at Bron, AD, KD. Like, you have stars and you have superstars.
Yeah, yeah. Is it safe to say? I could be speaking too. Oh no, there's Giannis and somewhat of Damian Lillard. I was gonna say, is there no superstars in the East? like
This
superstar, but Giannis is one, so I gotta.
Giannis is superstar. In the East, superstar? Okay, superstar, little team, they superstar in the East.
Giannis and Dame.
Is Jimmy Butler a superstar? No.
He's you know why you can't call him it? Because he doesn't do it for the regular season. If he did what he did in the playoffs, the regular season, he's a superstar.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, Pacers don't. They have emerging star.
Yeah.
Magic don't. Brunson's not a superstar.
You know, sometimes after Giannis, Embiid, and Dame, you know, you can argue to say that the next popular player is it not Trey Young in the Eastern Conference? Like, who's the next popular player in the Eastern Conference? Is it
Popular.
not Trey?
It's kind of Trey Young. It's kind of Trey Young.
Like, yeah, you have LaMelo Ball. There's no one in Toronto. Donovan Mitchell. I'm talking about popular, like fans wise. Like,
No, Trey, because he has that.
yeah,
He shoots
like
a three, and you kids be doing
that's
that.
wild. That's wild. Okay, so the question I want to ask you, um, who is the team that's the scariest in the Eastern Conference and Western Conference? The team that you know you don't want to face.
Okay, there's two for me, right? The team that is like, yo, shit, I do not want to face this team in the East. Fuck. Is up to the first team is the C's, right?
Yeah.
Top to bottom, they're the most well-rounded team in the East, right? They got the wing defenders, right? So they
Mhm.
got size, they got shooters, they got defense, they got a system, they have an identity. Simple. The next team, the dark horse team, is the fucking Heat. The Miami fucking Heat. You face the Caesar, I know, fuck. You face the Heat, it's like shit. Because you know if you lose to the Heat and they're very capable of beating you, it's gonna be bad look for the coaching staff, bad look for the players. Because it's like, how you lose that seed? Because what are they right now? They're seventh. They're in a play-in.
They're seventh, yeah.
They're in a fucking, you know what I mean? So if they win the play-in, they get what, seventh or eighth? If they get seventh and face the Bucks,
Crazy.
you know the Bucks have that taste in their mouth, and you know Butler already knows we already beat these guys.
And they had Drew Holiday guarding Jimmy. Who's guarding Jimmy now?
Dame?
You know Jimmy and Bobby Portis are probably gonna fight each other at one of the games.
Definitely, definitely. It's gonna be scrappy series.
I agree with you.
And if it's a
I
low
agree with
scoring
you.
series, like less than 100 or 100, it's definitely Miami's favor.
Oh, oh my goodness, yes, yes. Yeah. Even though Dame time is real, we both
Dame
agree
time is
that.
real, but Bam is a real defender as well at
Yeah,
the rim and on the switches.
yeah, you're right. I would say Miami's probably the scariest team, just because like we've doubted them, and we just can't keep doubting them.
Yeah.
Like key culture is real. Sometimes we just talked about him, like Philly, right?
Hmm. I ain't
I'm
worried about them. You?
you shouldn't be. You're right. No way. I'm just thinking like what if Embiid is healthy? Like what if he's healthy? And this is just a way to get this guy like 100%. Like they're like, you know what, Embiid, I know you're going for the MVP, but we need you to rest so you're fully healthy. You get back and like you and Maxi do your thing. Like what if that is the case?
Embiid has put up numbers in the playoffs before, and they
Yeah,
have not gotten to the East
yeah,
Finals still.
you're right. You're right. Now, what about Western Conference? Who are the two teams you find are the scariest? Or the one team, whatever team you have.
The one team, you already know, is the defending champs, the Nuggets. But I can't make it too easy. I gotta look
Right.
at a dark horse, right?
Right.
And right now, my dark horse, this is crazy for me to say. This is crazy for me to say, but I'm gonna go with the motherfucking Dallas Mavericks.
There's something about them. It's weird. Like it's like a weird energy with this team. Like I agree with what you're saying
I
because
feel like
we
this.
weren't really talking like Dallas wasn't winning games or
No,
like they were just kind of mid. But
yes,
all of a
yeah,
sudden, they've been kind of like, oh, okay. Like Luka's letting Kyrie do his thing. Kyrie's
yeah.
definitely doing his thing. Everyone, they're since the All-Star break, their defense is like top 10. Obviously, we know their offense is great.
It's
Please
just going to
continue.
translate better to me in the playoffs because it's more isolation ball, and you have those two guys that it doesn't matter which defender, small, short, tall, I should say, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Luka is special. You know
Very.
that, I know that. Luka's a special player. He's the one guy that like he hasn't won a title, but we all say, okay, this guy's a superstar. Like he doesn't like he's one of those people we may not even have to think he needs a title because we're like, this guy's a superstar.
Definitely.
He's like Jason Tatum. I feel we put way more. Oh, he has to win a title talk than we do Luka Doncic, and we should be talking to Luka
I
just as
agree. Honestly,
solid.
that's a very good take. That's a very good take.
Like we should, but Luka's also like I think 2 seasons younger. Blah blah. Luka has some playoff, but I think it's the
But the
Kyrie
look at
of it all.
the Jason Tatum one real quick is it's the squad.
Yeah,
Boston's overall better squad, right?
yeah,
So
that's true.
continue, continue.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Because if Luka did have a Brunson and a Porzingis on the squad, but I don't think Brunson was is New York Brunson in Dallas. This is different Brunson. This is like I saw Luka hog the ball. I'm hogging the ball. Like I'm doing what he did. So I don't see that really happening. But
Oh shit.
yeah, Dallas is a scary team. Like if I had to pick a scary team in the West, I almost want to agree with you. But if I can go with another team, that team that like I just think can do some damage is probably the Timberwolves.
I
Probably
agree.
the Timberwolves. Like
They could do some damage.
and I know
Yeah,
they're third place, so it doesn't really make sense of like how could you speak of them? Like if the season ended today, the Timberwolves are facing the Pelicans. That's a good series. Such a that's so fresh of a series. It's like a series we haven't seen before. It's not like it's Phoenix versus this team. No Minnesota Pelicans. We haven't seen that ever. We haven't seen it ever.
actually, that would be a good little series. That would be a good little
It's
series.
like young. What is Zion gonna do? What is Bi gonna do? Things like that. So
Well,
I'm
how is
very
Ant-Man
curious.
gonna do? Yeah, because he hasn't been to the second round, right?
Who?
Ant-Man.
No, not at all. This that man's
Yeah.
fourth year. It's just COVID, yeah. So yeah, so I'm very curious, like all that stuff that's doing. I think Minnesota's just good. Rudy Gobert is good. If they can get Karl Anthony Towns at like 70%, still a very quality NBA player. His shooting abilities is crazy. They play defense,
They do.
and the defense is when you have Rudy Gobert and you have Jaden McDaniels, two of the best defensive players in the league. I think it's pretty good. And when you have a smart point guard and Mike Conley, I think it's good. I think this season we're gonna see. I mean, we talked about it all seasons. It was one of my thing could have been a bold prediction. The league wants Ant-Man to be the face of the league. They want him. He is no issues, no trouble. He may say some things because he's still a kid. He may say
Yeah, he's still a kid. Yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff,
yeah, yeah.
but he's not Zion. He plays.
He
He's
plays.
not Ja. There's no guns in his Instagram account, so you can trust them. So I can see that really happening.
I don't even think that nigga got tattoos.
I think he does of his grandma and his
Okay,
mom.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I think got it young. I think it
okay.
was one of his stories or something. But I have to mention these Lakers. Hear me out, sir. Please hear me out before you may just call me crazy.
The Lakers, okay.
If the Lakers end up being seventh or eighth, right? It all depends on who they face. If they were to face, if let's say they're eighth and they face right now the eighth seed, whatever is OKC.
Mhm.
If they face OKC, you're confident that OKC is going to beat the Lakers in a 7 game series?
I'm gonna give you a take. Definitely not confident.
Thank you.
Definitely not confident.
Right? So it's like that one's legit a 50-50, okay? Let's just say. I personally think it's not
I'm
50.
saying 60-40 Lakers.
I'm really saying 70-30 Lakers.
Well, that's it. That's you. I'm saying 60-40 because
Because
OKC, like there's still
it's just the
pressure.
veterans, and then who's stopping AD?
It's not Chet.
It's not yet.
It's not Chet.
So that's all. That's why I say it. Okay, so then let's say that happens. Then their 4 and 5 matchup right now is Dallas versus Clippers. I'm not gonna lie, I would go Dallas. I would go Dallas in the series because I just like Dallas so much. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, right?
I like Dallas, but I'm like, fuck. Look, I like Dallas, the Clippers, but something about Dallas this year. I can't.
There's something
There's
weird,
something about Dallas this year because this is the most I've seen Kyrie Irving dunk in his career this season. I
right?
cannot even lie. And for a player to be doing that,
And look at Luca's done to the Clippers before.
well,
Like,
he suns them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He
so
suns them.
okay,
Yeah.
so that's the four and
He
five,
suns them and Booker. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
right? That's a 4 and 5 matchup. So then the
That's
Lakers
a
have to
seven
face
game. That's
one
a
of those
7 game
teams.
series though. That's a 7 game series to me.
Yeah, for sure. And the Lakers have to face one of those two teams, right? If they face one of those two teams, fine. If they face the Clippers, I may go 60% Clippers, 40% Lakers. But if let's say they face Dallas, I'm going 80% Lakers, right? I'm going 80% Lakers. That for sure against Dallas, for sure. Lakers will beat them. Now that now leads to Denver. Denver is all teams. I don't want to ever discount Jokic and Murray.
I don't know.
Them in the fourth quarter is like it's magic. Those guys just know.
They have the best pick and roll duo in the league. Period.
They're really good. They're really good. So my next question on, I think it's like my last question before we talk about our tournament. A team that you think if they don't make a long run, this team will have dramatic changes next season. Like they won't be the same team that they are today. So is there any team in the East or West? You can go both if you want to go East and West, or you can just pick one full team. Who do you think?
That's I want to believe it's the Raptors.
No, this is like playoff teams.
Oh, playoff teams.
Yeah.
Dramatic change, playoff teams.
If they don't make it past a certain round or NBA Finals, who's the team that you'll see not even look the same next year?
I really want to say the Clippers. I really want to say the Clippers. I'm not gonna lie because these guys are way too talented, way too much guys on that mother loving roster
Mm-hmm.
that can get it done. There's how much MVPs on that roster right now, former MVPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Playing still at a very high level. These guys are not even going to get to the finals. To me, they should blow it up in the long run.
Yeah.
That's how I feel because they're not going to the finals.
Yeah, the things they won't blow it up. There's so much reports, and I think all the reports are true that Paul George may not be coming back. They offered him money on the table and he hasn't taken it.
Yeah, I was saying it again.
They offered him it. They offered him a contract. He hasn't taken it because Steve Ballmer, they need this team to stay because next year they're opening the new arena.
Mm-hmm.
And they put too much money in it to be like, yeah, guys, it's Kawhi in the bench. No. They have to re-sign Harden. I don't know where they're getting all this money from, but they have to re-sign Harden. They have to do all those things, right? They may have to trade Norm just because they have to keep Harden. Just because the money. Maybe they have to trade. They can't trade Ivica Zubac, but maybe they have to, right? Maybe they have to make these.
You're gonna trade away those key guys that help you win games, and you're gonna have them with just bench guys that are like 10th, 11th, 12th to fill in. It's okay.
Right. 10, 11 guys playing 6, 7 man roles. Doesn't make sense just to bolster your starting unit. And that doesn't help. Look at Phoenix. Having top end talent, like
You took the thought right out of my head.
You need a more balance. So you would say the Clippers may be the most dramatic. You're right. They should. They should. But
they should. In my opinion, they should. But we'll see what happens.
I think the crazy thing with this question, there's a few teams I can see just go crazy. I think Phoenix, if they don't make it, can go crazy. Golden State, these teams all can. I think next season could be a crazy season for like
Golden State is that's a very good take.
I can see that for changes. Okay, the two teams, I'm gonna give you different teams that people don't like talk about a lot. I'm gonna go Cavaliers and the Pelicans. The reason I go Cavaliers, if they don't make it past, I don't even know what the argument could be.
Let's say East Finals. They need to make the East Finals.
So if they don't make it to the East Finals, they're gonna make a decision about Donovan Mitchell, as they should.
I
As
agree
they
with that.
should. You have to make a decision on Donovan Mitchell. If he doesn't want to stay, call New York, call somebody and be like, hey, what's up?
Donovan Mitchell and Brunson on the same squad. Is Randall there too, you think? Or they're trading Randall out?
I
His
I think
contract,
I think
Cal,
because of the money, you may have to trade Randall.
right?
But yeah, you may have to trade Randall. I just thought of a team, but I don't know how this would work. Could he be traded to the Pacers?
Who,
You have to
Mitchell?
trade Ben Mathurin. You trade Ben. You have to trade Nemhard. You have to trade Jarvis Walker. You'd have to trade probably a few draft picks
You're trading like 6 players.
for Donovan Mitchell.
That's a lot.
But then you have Donovan Mitchell with Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal. And as long as you keep Miles
That can
Turner,
work. That can work because those two will pass the ball and share the rock. They don't care.
right? But then your fear is that like the Cavaliers turned into Donovan Mitchell's team. And it was supposed to be the Evan Mobley and Garland show. And it has not turned that way at
No,
all. So that's a team I can see making drastic changes. I think because of contract wise, the Pelicans can see a big change. And everyone's saying exactly what you said in the past. They need a point guard.
100%.
They need it.
It
So,
ain't CJ.
and it's not him, right? You think D'Angelo Russell?
If you want inconsistency,
Yeah, I guess. And on that team, they honestly need a Mike Conley. Like I don't know if there's a
that's a good.
veteran point
Yeah,
guard, right? Like they need someone like that. That's why if I'm them, I have to find a way to call. They probably won't do it now, but I would try to find a way to call Houston and be like, "What do you want for Fred?"
that's actually not a bad. That's not bad
Because you
actually.
need someone like that. You need a mentally steady man,
That's not bad actually.
right? You need a mentally steady man to
Because
like,
he's gonna get open looks from three with Bi and him. Yeah, yeah.
right. So
He's
that's
gonna
the
go.
but the Pelicans are a team that I can see making dramatic changes. Like buy CJ, JV, you clog the paint, buy like BI. Don't be shocked if they have to decide if it's Zion's team or if it's BI's team.
It definitely, swear to God, it should have been Zion's team from how long?
Right.
Like
But
this is crazy to even bring that up.
but sometimes BI does this thing. So like you're
Well,
like,
he does his thing, but Zion should be better than what he is right now.
I've
Because
always
he
said I
was
see
supposed
the
to be that generational talent,
he is supposed to.
that you know what I mean, that franchise player, that superstar. Not Bi is a good player. He's supposed to be a good player, great player, whatever. But you were that guy. You were putting up posters, pinning balls like volleyball and blocks, right? All of that,
I
right?
see the Pelicans as like I always say the goal, not the Golden State, Milwaukee Bucks. BI is your Chris Middleton, possibly better shooter and a better scorer, I should say. And
Definitely better.
Giannis is your Zion. You just bully, bully, bully. But now what are they missing? The missing piece is the Drew Holiday. So they got to get their Drew Holiday. And Fred is like has that like prototype of Drew Holiday,
He
a
does.
top-notch defender,
Definitely.
can get steals, like all those things. Drew's probably a better defender, but
Drew is,
Fred
yeah.
is no slouch,
Fred ain't a slouch.
right? Fred is not a
I
slouch,
feel Fred's a better shooter than Drew.
right? Pure shooter, yeah.
Yeah,
Fred's better. So like, this is the type of guy they need. But I don't know if there's anyone else in the league that like, because the point guards nowadays are so scoring heavy. I don't know if there's really a guy who can facilitate like that. I should say.
definitely, definitely.
I don't really see that a lot. But yeah, those are the teams that we think could be scary going into these playoffs and the teams that we think could see dramatic changes. Now, before we end the podcast, it's time to just talk about our lovely Raptors Republic. Shouts out to Zahar. and the crew, James, all of them, who hosted the Raptors Republic 3-on-3 tournament, which myself, Skulls, and a few other guys were a part of. We can, you tell me how you felt it was. How was it for you?
First and foremost, shout the guys for putting it together, as you said. We all appreciate it. You know what I mean? It was a good event, turned out well. You know what I mean? But man, can you edit this? I don't want to put up my. Can you edit it? Can you blur it? Can you blur it? Can I put? You know what I mean? That's my message to that ref. You know who I'm talking about, ref. You know what I'm talking about, man. Like overall, it was a good tournament.
It was.
There's some guys that could hit. There's some guys that could shoot. Can't even lie, that could really shoot. There's a guy playing like white chocolate, but not passing as much as white chocolate. Right? It's crazy, right? But you know,
I think we underestimated. Well, I can say I underestimated for sure. And I was talking to a few people. They said the talent level for the event that we went to, the 3-on-3, was better, like way better. It wasn't as good like this before.
okay,
It was way better. Now, to give some context to a lot of people, so there's three divisions that we're three divisions on. With the
okay.
three divisions, we were part of the hardest division. That's what they had said. It was definitely true because in the semifinals, three out of the five teams in our division were
In the semis,
we're on the
100%.
same we're on the same we're in the semifinals. So our division had those guys in the finals had the two teams in our actual division. So do I think if it was more evened out, because I was told that it was evened out, it was not evened out because I do believe that the teams that did beat us were actually at the time better than us. Um, I feel like if we play today, could we compete? Probably because we would almost know what to do more than we did before and understand the officiating. But it's more of the fact that like we were watching other teams make it, and one of the teams like we saw, we were like, no, we can beat this team. But we never faced the teams that we can beat. We faced all the hardest teams. So I think that was where it was a little bit different for us. Speaking of that ref, I just felt he called everything.
That
And
ref was horrible. I accepted the other L's, but that L, I can't accept that as a true L. I really can't. That's just a draw. To me, that's a draw. That's up in the air. That's a draw. Let's all look at that last game that we played.
it was, and no word of a lie, it seemed like we were facing the LA Lakers the way they were getting calls.
Yeah.
It was like there was, and mind you, those guys were like they lost in the semifinals, and they were a okay team. Like we're not denying that they were good or bad. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
It's more of the fact that like
It was the
what
calls. It wasn't
it was
the
the calls.
defense.
They
It was the
had probably
calls.
10 more foul calls than us, like easy.
100%. We were in the penalty from early, and I'm like, "There's penalties."
Yeah, it
The
was
ref's like, "You
that
guys never
called
got into
bad.
the penalties." That's why I'm like, "Okay." And we were playing the same type of defense,
And
but yet we get into penalties with this guy.
and I will strongly say next year we're coming back and we're gonna be much better, especially if the team. So the team that won is the same team that won last year. So
That
at least it's almost like, not to say it's a comforting feeling, but it's a more understanding feeling to have lost to a team that won the whole thing and that they won again. It was comforting for that aspect of it. And but one of the matches was a sharpshooter. Like he just was. He just was a sharpshooter.
He was hitting. He was hitting. I can't deny that. He was hitting. It was fun. You know what I mean? Tournament was fun, but winning is more fun.
Yeah. We're coming back next year for sure.
Definitely.
I'm gonna try to lose some weight.
Harder than ever. Let's get it.
Uh, I think I'm gonna go to a basketball coach to perfect left hand, get some handles or something. I don't know, maybe. I know it's some bread. I'm not trying to spend all that money. But like the way those guys are shooting, I'm trying to play ball like at least once a month, maybe twice a month for sure. I'm just trying to shoot the basketball twice a month now, just because I think that matters. Why I
Yeah,
say all the time, rhythm matters. Like being cold is hard to play cold. Like it's hard. So I think rhythm definitely matters. And a lot of the people who are playing, you saw it, like they've been playing with each other for years, it looks.
yeah, they're not they're playing a couple times a week, once a week minimum, like for years, not here and there, like for the year, twice a week at least, sort of thing. Because how are you shooting like that and handling like that? You're playing often enough, right? That's just what it is.
And the one thing also with that is that like that I can say is that the way they were moving without the ball and all, like you can tell they're playing. And yeah, they may go against each other a couple times, but there's a lot of cases where these guys are on the same squad together. Like these guys look like they could be on like high school teams together. Like
Maybe, possibly.
right, they look that like intertwined in what they were doing. And we're not trying to find excuses. The teams that won deserve to win,
Yeah, they were better teams, so it is what it is.
right? So I think that's fine. The officiating was, whew, that guy was very, he was to the point, I have to be honest. I definitely intentionally fouled him, man. He fell on the floor. I definitely picked him up because sportsmanship, but I definitely walked across the ref and I stared at him the whole time just because I was just so mad at him.
Yeah,
I was almost willing to get ejected. I was so angry.
well,
And
they
like,
got technicals. Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to get my Draymond Green on. I really don't. I really don't want to get my Draymond Green, but I was very angry.
Draymond Green accidentally kick a man in the nuts again.
It was but once like why I said it was a fun environment in the beginning. I almost wish I could have like I feel like next year I'm gonna tell I'm gonna talk to Zahar and be like, yo, let me because I like the thought of tournaments. I like the thought of like teams playing against each other. I almost want to be the one to like have this spreadsheet and organize it all. Like give me all the names and I'll be like, okay, perfect. I'm doing all this. Like I'm gonna talk to Zahar a lot. Like I'm probably gonna send him an email, be like how fun it was and blah blah blah. I even so one thing I think we should do is like get a trophy, right? Like, I
Yeah,
think
there
it's
should be
cool.
something like that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's cool to have a trophy. Let the winners be like, okay, this is the trophy we won. Blah 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 blah.
Or
Like
t-shirts, like you know what I mean? Some champions t-shirts.
right, right. Some that will be like cost effective. It won't be too crazy. It'd be
Yeah,
like
because like 50, like it's the winners is gonna be 4 or 5 people, so like four t-shirts, 5 t-shirts should be
right,
crazy.
right. So I just
For
think like
example, instead of like nothing, but it's something because it was a tournament. It
right,
was the gym rented out. It was, you know what I mean. But I get it. Like you want something to take
right,
back, sort of thing. I get it. I get it.
right. But it was, I would say for me, man, also like on like more of a personal note, it was nice being there because there was a lot of people that I've spoken to. This whole Raptor space and media space for Raptors sometimes it's like hard to get into the door and it's hard to get people to continuously just like communicate with you. So I think some of the people there I've talked to a lot, like I saw Sean Woodley from Locked On Raptors. He was like, "Hey Mike, how's it going?" And I saw Blake Murphy, who's always been like one of the best guys in this industry. He hosts Sportsnet's Jays Talk and Raptors as well. And mind you, a lot of these guys started from Raptors Republic. And Samson Folk has always been like a gem to speak to. And there's multiple other people that I can mention, but it was nice kind of being around them kind of knowing who I was personally, because that was kind of um, cool to experience. Because I would say this Raptors media is in a nice way. Sometimes it's kind of clicky, it's kind of clicky, and I strongly think it's kind of clicky. And I feel like if you're not a part of a certain group, you kind of you're viewed differently, I'll say. I'll say you're viewed a little differently. But I also can say for me, like as much as I love sports media, I'm not really trying to get into sports media anymore like I did in the past. If it happens, if somehow this podcast booms and we can get more, whatever, of course
Yeah,
you run with it. But I think the way I see it nowadays is like I just love talking ball,
yeah,
right? I like talking ball with anyone who's willing to talk ball with me.
yeah.
So that's one thing I can say I truly appreciate in the grand scheme of it all.
No, I hear you. I hear that. You don't want to sacrifice your integrity in a sense. You know what I mean?
Right,
In
right,
a sense.
right. And it's like, mind you, like I said, a lot of people in the Raptors, media spaces are really cool people. A lot of them are willing to listen. But we have one team. Everyone should realize that we have one team that that people love to talk about. We have one thing I would almost want to be more interested is the CEBL. I do want to watch that, the Canadian Basketball League, because one thing with Canada in sports, besides hockey, like we just don't do enough.
Yeah, and we
Like,
don't support them enough at the same time too for it to be growing,
right,
right?
right. We just don't like if you look at the Raptors Republic views on TikTok, they've gone down dramatically. Dramatically. Ever since the Raptors started being bad, we were doing like I'm not boasting myself. They've done like 10,000 views before. But when I started doing the videos, man, you go on TikTok after I started doing the FanDuel, all of our views are hitting 2,000, 6,000 views easily. Some of my videos hit like the 8,000. Some of Samson's videos hit 8,000 consistently. And when you go on Raptors Public TikTok, you mainly see Samson's face and my face. You'll see both
Yeah,
of our faces
yeah.
on the TikTok. Even the Instagram channel, you'll see both. But nowadays, it's limited, right? So almost this is more of a talk to Masai. Masai, I need the team to be good.
Something needs to give. Someone's got to give.
I need the team to be good because the team is good. It's easier for the views. We can all talk ball, blah, blah, blah,
Because everyone's
blah.
on the, and it sucks, but when the team's winning, everyone's on the wagon. That's just what
Right,
it
right,
is. We're
right.
gonna call it as we see it, right?
Right. So, but
How
we
much
just
Raptors fans were there in 2018, 19?
a lot, a lot of them are. So, yeah, man. But it was overall the event was fun. I wish they did it more than once a year, but obviously that's fine. There's another tournament that we were talking about. We won't dive into it too much, but that's like a more of an 8 team tournament. But I'm pretty interested in that. What
True,
say you?
true. 18 tournament. Yeah, anything ball I'm interested in. You already know.
Right, right. So like, actually, anything else about the tournament you want to mention?
It was all honestly, it was all good vibes. You know what I mean? Just that one ref was just it's like the other team gave him no 20 or something or 50. I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? Other than that, that was the only one little blemish, right? If you want to say that, everything else was smooth. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to next year's tournament. That's how I feel. Real talk. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Anything else you want to talk about in regards to basketball? Anything you want to chat about, my boy?
Fuck Raptors, man. Fuck, I'm
Oh, yeah.
praying for y'all.
Yeah, we
That's all.
didn't talk about the Raptors. That's very true. As Toronto fans, we definitely see. Look, we didn't even talk about it. They're 1-14 since they won 3 games in a row. They've been 1-14.
That's horrible.
Uh,
Holy
this team
shit.
has not been good at all by any stretch of the match. They have not been good. So ultimately, we just are waiting for the draft. I just don't want the pick. I don't even care anymore. I just don't want the pick. Like, and if we get the pick, I want top like 2. I want like a good pick then. I don't want 6. I want top 2. I want to make the decision between whoever number 1 is, and I pick number 2, and I want to make that decision. I don't want 6th. I'd rather just give away the pick.
I hear you.
I definitely have to give away the pick. It's not worth it. Just not worth it. But yeah, yeah. Anything else Raptors related?
Nah, man. Nah, I'm gonna let that rest for now.
Oh gosh, they yeah, they're not good. They're not good. Not good at all. They're not good at all. Okay, well, that was the end of the pod. We will do another pod about next week. If maybe we may surprise you with one this week, who knows? We'll
Who
see.
knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Never know. But of course, guys, enjoy that. I'm telling you, enjoy the women's college ball. Enjoy that. It's gonna be incredibly fun.
Yeah, trust me.
Incredibly fun. But
I'm
make sure
watching.
you guys like, you comment, and subscribe. We should have made some videos for the Raptors Tourney. You would have saw some. We'll added it on, blah, edited it up, blah blah blah. Next time we'll do all that. But you guys have a good one. I hope for some of them, you guys have a good long weekend. Some of y'all may have tomorrow off or whatever, tonight off. Just enjoy ball, enjoy basketball. We love it. Peace, and we'll talk again.